Today's headlines. President Duterte orders the arrest of the consultants of the National Democratic Front after being declared as terrorists. Concerned parents protest the implementation of the anti-dengue immunization program despite the vaccine's health risks. 500 new homes are set to be ready for occupancy in Marawi City before Christmas. A student from Leyte wins a top prize in an international science video competition. Good day, I'm Pia Roses Morato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte said to order the arrest of the consultants of the National Democratic Front following the declaration of the CPP-NPA as terrorists. He also warned communist rebels that they will suffer the consequences of their atrocities. Here's our report.
President Rodrigo Duterte said he will order the mass arrest of National Democratic Front consultants who were released temporarily following the collapse of the peace talks with the communist rebels. Around 20 NDF consultants, including Communist Party of the Philippines leaders Benito and Wilma Chamzon, were granted conditional liberty so they could participate in the peace talks. The president's announcement came a day after declaring the CPP and New People's Army as terrorist organizations. The president said the communists eventually want a coalition government, which is something he cannot give. With the developments, President Duterte told military officials to expect a longer war of attrition with the CPP-NPA-NDF. He said that he is not ready to go back to the negotiating table, even if the Reds are now the ones demanding the resumption of peace talks, adding that he will not insult them by speculating on the sudden turnaround. He also accused them of impunity for waylaying everybody, including innocent civilians. The president terminated the peace talks with the communist rebels, following a string of violent attacks against state forces despite ongoing peace negotiations. The last straw was the killing of a 4-month-old infant in an ambush by alleged NPA rebels in Bukidnon last November 9. He said that he is ready to implement the rule of law by first ordering their arrests, adding that the government is ready for any eventuality should the rebels resist. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte supported the proclamation of the New People's Army as a terror group. The presidential son characterized the NPA's activities as acts of terrorism. Paulo also said the NPA's activities are no different to those of the Abu Sayyaf bandits and the Maute terror group. Vice Mayor recalled the death of a 4-month-old baby when the NPA rebels attacked a convoy of vehicles in Bukidnon last month. He also lambasted leftist organizations for their supposed silence on NPA's atrocities such as harassment, extortion, killing and attacks on mining companies that fail to pay revolutionary taxes. He said the NPA follows a twisted ideology that serves the personal interests of its leaders. President Rodrigo Duterte signed Proclamation number 374 declaring the CPP-NPA as a terrorist organization. Concerned parents staged a protest at the central office of the Department of Health against the implementation of the flawed dengue immunization program. The parents were seeking accountability over the distribution of the dengue vaccine despite its health risks. Children without history of dengue who were vaccinated were found to be more at risk of severe dengue in later months. The parents said the program resulted to trauma for those who were fearing for the safety of their children that were vaccinated. They further accused Sanofi Pasteur, manufacturer of the vaccine, and DOH of using children as guinea pigs. They also questioned the anomalous timing and funding of the program. The immunization program started in April 2016, just before the end of the Aquino administration. DOH Undersecretary Gerardo Bayugo allayed fears that dengue is immediately severe as long as treatment is availed. The Food and Drug Administration already issued an advisory that ordered the suspension of sale, distribution, and marketing of dengue vaccine. Meanwhile, some 13,000 public elementary school children from 11 towns in Bataan have been given a third dose of dengue vaccine from April to June this year. The Provincial Health Office of Bataan, however, said they have not yet received any complaints or problem after vaccination. About 200,000 children in Central Luzon were also given the dengue vaccine. The Department of Health in Central Luzon assured it's monitoring those who were vaccinated. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II ordered the National Bureau of Investigation to identify those behind the recent series of intercepted human trafficking attempts. The Bureau of Immigration intercepted 5 foreign nationals allegedly involved in human smuggling attempts from November 25 to December 4. All of them were bound for the United Kingdom during the ASEAN summit. Aguirre said the human traffickers timed their activity when the airports were busy with the influx of international guests. He said their use of fake travel documents to smuggle them was a sign of organized criminal efforts which need to be investigated further. Aguirre also lauded the efforts of immigration officers for being alert to attempts by the human smuggling syndicate to use the NAIA as a base for their operations. The Supreme Court affirmed with finality its decision declaring President Rodrigo Duterte's proclamation of martial law in Mindanao as constitutional. Voting 10-3-1, the SC dismissed the appeals of the 3 petitioners to the July 4 ruling for mootness and lack of merit. The petitions filed by opposition lawmakers led by Albay Representative Edsel Lagman, several Mindanao leaders, and a group of women from Marawi challenged the legality of the imposition of martial law. In its ruling, the SC said there was sufficient factual basis for the declaration of martial law and the suspension of the privilege of writ of habeas corpus following the Maute group-led attacks in Marawi on May 23. The High Court said there is no constitutional provision that this emergency power should be implemented only where actual rebellion exists. The government had repeatedly said martial law was necessary to quell rebellion instigated by ISIS-inspired local rebel groups. The SC issued its final ruling as President Duterte is set to decide whether to extend the martial law declaration, which will lapse by the end of the year. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Carlo Nograles said the proposed 50 billion peso cut in the 2018 budget of Department of Public Works and Highways for right-of-way or road acquisitions was scrapped in a bicameral meeting. The DPWH and the Department of Budget and Management told lawmakers that the funding cut may adversely impact the administration's Build infrastructure program. Nograles said the 50 billion peso budget cut will be reduced to just 4 billion pesos. Senator Panfilo Lacson pushed for the 50.7 billion peso cut in the DPWH budget due to unresolved road issues, which he said was the main culprit for the huge underspending of the agency. Nograles noted that the 2 chambers must have the 2018 national budget ratified before Congress goes into a Christmas recess so that President Rodrigo Duterte may sign it on or before December 19. President Duterte has signed the extension of the term of Armed Forces Chief of Staff General Ray Leonardo Guerrero. Malacanang said Guerrero's term has been extended until April 24, 2018. Guerrero is supposed to retire on December 17 as he reaches the age of compulsory retirement. He has been AFP Chief of Staff for 6 months. Still to come, 500 new homes are set to be ready for occupancy in Marawi City before Christmas. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues. Guimaras will host the 20th National Mango Congress where stakeholders look forward to address concerns affecting the country's mango industry. The event will be held in April during the Manggahan sa Cabanwahanan ahead of the 25th Manggahan Festival. The event is spearheaded by the Philippine Mango Industry Foundation Incorporated with the Guimaras Mango Growers and Producers Development Cooperative as host in partnership with the provincial government and the Department of Agriculture. Ronnie Morante, provincial agriculturist of Guimaras, said possible topics include marketing and organic mango production. Guimaras has already a techno demo for organic mango growing, but the technology is not yet ready. Close to 1,000 participants from various parts of the country are expected to visit Guimaras. The province produced 11,500 metric tons of mangoes last year. It has at present about 175,000 mango-bearing trees. China donated some 7.7 million pesos in assistance to the Pampanga provincial government to help protect its poultry sector following the bird flu outbreak last August. Chinese ambassador to the Philippines, Zhao Jinhua, handed a check for the donation to Governor Lilia Pineda and Pampanga 2nd District Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The ambassador congratulated the local government for immediately controlling the bird flu outbreak, which was declared on August 11. On August 28, President Rodrigo Duterte said the problem was over with assurance that poultry products from Pampanga and Nueva Ecija, including eggs, were safe to eat. The Pampanga poultry sector suffered losses of 192 million pesos with more than 420,000 chickens, ducks, and quails culled. Governor Pineda meanwhile said the donation would be used to buy and operate a mobile laboratory to test and confirm avian influenza strains. She said the funds would also be used to improve capabilities to regulate and monitor the local poultry sector. The Department of Public Works and Highways reported that some 500 families displaced by the conflict in Marawi City may get new homes before Christmas. Here's our report.
Some 500 families displaced by the Marawi City siege would be moving into transition shelters before Christmas. According to DPWH Secretary Mark Villar, the construction of the resettlement area in Barangay Sagonsongan is on schedule. They expect the initial number of beneficiaries to be in their new transition homes before December 25. Villar recently visited the areas that were damaged by the war between government forces and the Maute Group, which lasted for 5 months. The Duterte administration is eyeing 4,000 buckwheat families to benefit from building the transition area. He said that the local government and the Department of Social Welfare and Development would be in charge of identifying the first 500 families that would occupy the newly built houses. Earlier, Villar reported that a post-conflict needs assessment team has entered the area to conduct assessment on the extent of the damage on the infrastructure in the war-torn city. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
Soldiers from the 33rd Infantry Battalion treated wounded communist rebels following a clash with the Army's 27th Infantry Battalion at the borders of South Cotabato and Sultan Kudarat. The 33rd IB, based in Bagumbayan, Sultan Kudarat, provided manpower support to elements of 27th IB base that clashed with the rebels on Sunday in Barangay Ned, Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. 7 communist rebels were killed and scores were wounded. 2 soldiers were also killed. The next day, 33rd IB troopers led by Lieutenant Colonel Harold Cabunok and tribal elders entered Datalbong Langon to treat a wounded insurgent. 10 NPA members, including several injured, later on surrendered to Cabunok before village authorities. Cabunok said the number of communist rebels who surrendered to the government troops in Sultan Kudarat has now reached to 86. The wounded were brought to Sultan Kudarat Provincial Hospital in Isulan, the provincial capital. The local police of Bagumbayan meanwhile extended emergency assistance to families displaced by military conflicts. Up next, the Department of Public Works and Highways teams up with Uber to address traffic problems in Metro Manila. A student from Leyte wins a top prize in an international science video competition. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns. The Department of Public Works and Highways and Transport Network Uber signed a memorandum of agreement to share data that may be used to address traffic problems in Metro Manila. DPWH Secretary Mark Villar said they would be given access to Uber's Movement, a website that may help urban planners make informed decisions about cities. Data retrieved by Uber will be used to study traffic patterns, solutions, and rerouting schemes. The riding app will build the Movement for Manila platform with the help of the DPWH Planning Department to provide inputs for enhanced traffic management and troubleshooting. Uber Philippines General Manager Lawrence Cues said data from Uber's trips can be used to estimate travel time as well as factors such as impacts of events. He said transportation planners can evaluate which parts of cities need expanded infrastructure like the NAIA X or Skyway extension. 55 policemen completed the 5-day urban and rural counter-snipers course held at the Davao City Police Office. Among the participants were members of DCPO SWAT team, Davao City Mobile Force, Task Force Davao, and other counterparts. Skills learned in training include tactical deployment, long-distance shooting, and contact drills. The training aims to update security personnel in tactics in preparation for future contingencies against terrorists, especially in urban warfare. Participants were also expected to learn to promptly respond to situations beyond the capabilities of their unit. President Rodrigo Duterte expressed confidence that he can count on overseas Filipino workers to be partners of government in providing a comfortable life to Filipinos. The President graced a 2017 Model OFW Family of the Year Awards held in Malacanang. He urged OFWs to work hand-in-hand with the government to provide a more prosperous life for their family and for the future generations of Filipinos. The President also discussed the measures he implemented to improve the plight of Filipinos working abroad. Among these were the curbing of the alleged bullet planting scheme by unscrupulous airport personnel and prohibiting the Bureau of Customs and the Bureau of Immigration from tinkering baggage of OFWs. The Overseas Workers Welfare Administration created the Model OFW of the Year Awards in 2003 to recognize the invaluable contribution of OFWs and the unparalleled support of their families in pursuit of a better life. Engineers Leo Rafer de Veles and Noe Can Hadiola, as well as their families, were this year's top awardees. A high school student from Leyte bagged the top prize in an annual international science competition. She won a scholarship and thousands of dollars for her simplified video on relativity, which bested entries all over the world. Here's our report.
A student from Leyte beat 11,000 young learners from 178 countries to bag the 3rd Annual Breakthrough Junior Challenge Prize. Hilary Dayan Andales from the Philippine Science High School Eastern Visayas Campus in Palo, Leyte, personally received the award on December 3, 2017 at the NASA's Ames Research Center in California. The native of Abuyog, Leyte made the video Relativity and Equivalence of Reference Frames understandable to the layman. Andales received a $250,000 post-secondary scholarship, a $50,000 prize for her science teacher, and a $100,000 Breakthrough Science Lab for her school designed in partnership with Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory. The Breakthrough Junior Challenge is a global science video competition designed to inspire creative thinking about the fundamental concepts in life sciences, physics, and mathematics. The entrants must display in skills in science, communication, and to be able to simplify complex ideas into basic terms. The videos were evaluated based on 4 criteria: creativity, difficulty, engagement, and illumination. This was Andales' second time in the competition. Last year, with more than 300,000 views of her video, she won for her the top popular vote. She automatically qualified as finalist for her video presentation on Feynman's path integrals, explaining an advanced physics concept that can be understood by an average person. This lone BJC winner is a recipient of Mga Bagong Rizal 2017, Pag-asa ng Bayan. The awarding will be on December 30, Rizal Day. The said nationwide search recognizes young people's community involvements, leadership potential, and high academic standing. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Mayor Inday Sara Duterte Carpio has cancelled the localized peace negotiation with the New People's Army following the declaration by President Rodrigo Duterte of the communist rebels as terrorists. However, the mayor did not dissolve the Davao City Peace Committee, which had spearheaded efforts to strike peace with NPA rebels operating in the city. Instead, she renamed it as the Davao City Advisory Committee for Peace and Development. She also gave it a new mandate to talk to the community about their issues. Duterte Carpio said the new body will serve as the medium between the city government and far-flung communities to resolve their issues and concerns. Mayor Inday said she's also leaving the NPA issue to the military. DC Peace Dev spokesperson and lawyer Eliza La Peña said that the new role of the committee is to build peace tables, which communities can use as sounding boards. La Peña said that they will start talking to residents of hinterland communities in the city on December 20. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Ben Shbondo.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's headlines. President Duterte orders the arrest of the consultants of the National Democratic Front after being declared as terrorists. Concerned parents protest the implementation of the anti-dengue immunization program despite the vaccine's health risks. 500 new homes are set to be ready for occupancy in Marawi City before Christmas. A student from Leyte wins a top prize in an international science video competition. The holidays are coming soon. It's 18 days before Christmas. For more stories, please log on to www.pna.gov.ph or visit the PNA page on Facebook and Twitter. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Morato. Good day.